So, Gyökeres is set to have his medical at Arsenal this coming weekend. But the question is, who's next in line for Arsenal to sign this summer transfer window? Welcome to the Gooners. If you guys are new around here, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Goes a long way in helping me out. This is the show, part of the show, where I do all the transfer news linked to Arsenal and other football transfer news in the footballing world. Welcome along. Hope you guys are keeping well. There is no other place to start but to say or to talk about Victor Gyökeres. It has now been fully confirmed that Victor Gyökeres is going to be signing for Arsenal. Full agreement in place, and apparently it's also been agreed that he's going to be wearing the number 14 shirt. As you guys can see here, Dave Ornstein basically tweeted earlier today and said Arsenal reached total agreement with Sporting Lisbon to sign Victor Gyökeres. Sporting granted a 27-year-old striker permission to travel. Medical scheduled for Saturday. The Sweden international is expected to wear the iconic number 14 shirt as the new Arsenal frontman. I did say in my last show, I'd literally asked you guys, what number should Gyökeres wear? And a lot of people were saying, basically strip Gabriel Jesus off that number 9 shirt and give it to Gyökeres. I was like, basically, you know what? I wouldn't mind Gyökeres wearing the number 14 shirt. There's some people in the fan base that are saying it's too much of a heavy shirt to wear and to bear. And there's been no one that's been able to carry that shirt since the iconic and the legend himself, Thierry Henry. I'm just of the opinion that it's not a heavy shirt to wear, and let's be honest, anytime you see the number 14 shirt, whether it's at Arsenal, whether it's at Barcelona, it just reminds you of Thierry Henry. It's as simple as that. But the great and the most important thing is that Arsenal have now got full agreement, and Gyökeres has been given the full permission to travel to Arsenal to basically undergo his medical. And that is expected to obviously happen later on today. It's also been said that he's going to be traveling to London today, as of the time recording this video, Friday. And he's going to be traveling Friday the 25th today. He's going to be traveling over to London today, doing all his medical tomorrow. And hopefully he'll be traveling over to possibly Hong Kong. As you guys know, if not Singapore, probably Hong Kong. As you guys know, we'll be taking on Newcastle on Sunday in a pre-season friendly in Singapore. And then Arsenal are going to be traveling over to Hong Kong to take on Spurs. I believe it's on Wednesday or Thursday, one of the two. Double check. But I don't basically think that Gyökeres is going to be able to travel over to Singapore, especially if he's still going to be in London on Saturday doing his medical. I personally believe he's going to be meeting up with the Arsenal over in Hong Kong, ready for that Tottenham game. Honestly, I personally don't think that he's going to be participating in the game on Wednesday against Spurs. In my personal opinion, I just think that would have come around potentially too soon for him to play. As you guys know, he has not actually been back in pre-season. There's been speculation over socials that he has been having one-on-one training with one of the Arsenal members of staff. I don't know how possible that is, considering that there was pictures of him in Mallorca sometime last week with his agent. So it's possibly, it's possibly that he's been doing some sort of solo training, fitness training, trying to get back up to scratch in his own personal time with his own personal trainer. But I very much doubt the fact that he's going to be up to speed to take on Tottenham on Wednesday or Thursday in Hong Kong, the first North London derby for the upcoming season. But the great news is we finally have our front man. And I just want to get you guys to remember, this guy went through heaven and earth basically to get this move to Arsenal. He reported apparently he broke up with his girlfriend to move to, because apparently he was being given an ultimatum that it's either you stay in Sporting in Portugal, and if you move to Arsenal, then I can't be with you. So there was that. And then it was a case of, he basically said no to Ruben Amorim because apparently Ruben Amorim wanted him at Manchester United. He basically said no. And then it was a case of he waived about 2 million euros worth of wages. He told his agent to waive his own agent fees. He almost sued Sporting Lisbon because they were going to block him from his dream move to Arsenal, considering that they went back on their word. And this guy basically said he only wanted Arsenal. And any player that's gone through all of that and said they only want Arsenal, honestly, your favorite in my book already. You haven't even signed yet, and you're already basically going through heaven and earth to make sure that you get that move to Arsenal. So yeah, Victor Gyökeres, medical booked for Saturday. Is going to be wearing the number 14 shirt, and that announcement, pictures, videos is going to be iconic. And I do hope Arsenal are going to be making some big moves when it comes to that announcement video. And then the question is, who's next? Because if once Victor Gyökeres comes through the door, he's going to be the sixth player to come through the door this summer transfer window. My assumption is Arsenal are going to now start potentially working on outgoings before they work on any more incomings. So there's speculations to suggest that Arsenal are still in talks to sign Eberechi Eze. Talks continue with his camp. It was reported yesterday by Mark Jacobs, I believe it is, or Ben Jacobs, sorry, that Arsenal are still in contact with Eberechi's camp. However, they have not made any concrete talks or any concrete approach to Crystal Palace as of yet. As we know, Crystal Palace have obviously put in an appeal to UEFA in regards to the Europa League and the Conference League and all that stuff that's potentially going on in the background. So there's speculation to suggest that Crystal Palace potentially they might get their place back in the Europa League, or they might just stay in a Conference League. And I do believe, depending on the outcome of that appeal, would depend on whether Crystal Palace will have to sell in this summer transfer window. And the likelihood is they're going to be selling Eberechi Eze. And also, there's speculation is still running in regards to Rodrigo. Arsenal are still in contact or still in contention to sign Rodrigo. He's been linked with Arsenal. He's been linked with Liverpool. He's been linked with Chelsea and so forth. Again, Real Madrid have said if he wants to leave, he's more than welcome to leave if they get a good enough offer. They're not forcing him out the door, but they're also not going to stop him from leaving if an offer comes in that's worth their while or for them to consider in that regard. So we're still waiting in regards to, is Arsenal going to go in for Eberechi Eze? Is Arsenal going to go in for Rodrigo? Because having watched that friendly game against AC Milan, it's quite evident that we still need to strengthen on that left-hand side. I know that Noni Madueke has already come in. However, I know he can play left, he can play right. We all know that. But I think a lot of us are probably thinking he's going to be potentially be challenging with Bukayo Saka on that right-hand side, which then means we're going to need some backup on the left-hand side. Again, which then potentially means that either Martinelli or Trossard will have to vacate that position. Up to me, he will have to be Trossard. However, Martinelli didn't have the greatest of game against AC Milan the other night. Nelson played well, but again, speculations that he might be on the move out of the door, potentially to Fulham. They're linked with him. And also, Crystal Palace are linked with Reece Nelson as well. Another potential outgoings from Arsenal is Albert Salbi Lokonga. He might be going at the door just as much as well. We've got Zinchenko there. He might be surplus to requirements come next season. As you know, we've got Marcus Lewis-Skelly there. We've got Calafiori. Now we have Mosquera. Obviously, he's a backup for Saliba. However, somebody like Zinni, he might be going. Fabio Vieira, another potential exit for him from the Arsenal as well. So we've got quite a few players potentially that might be leaving Arsenal Football Club this summer. As I said, I do believe once Arsenal get Gyökeres through the door, I do believe that they're going to start potentially working on their outgoings. Let me know in the comments below, would you rather go with Gyökeres? Not Gyökeres, he's coming in. Would you rather go with Rodrigo or Eberechi Eze? Up to me, I'll be going with Eze for obvious reasons. He's an Arsenal fan. He's an Arsenal man from day one. He's Premier League proven. We know what we're going to get. And potentially his wages potentially might not be as high as a Rodrigo. And with Rodrigo, I believe like with the outlay on him, it's going to be a massive risk as opposed to getting Eberechi Eze in. That is my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And another reason potentially why we would want an Eberechi Eze is the fact also that, listen, the number 10 shirt is still available. As we know, he's definitely wearing a number 10 shirt over at Crystal Palace already. And as you know, we had the two iconic shirts, which is the number 14 and the number 10. Both shirts is available. Gyökeres is taking the number 14. maybe the number 10 will be for Ebericha Eze. As per usual, guys, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. The subscribe button is free. Come on, hit that like and subscribe button, goes a long way in helping me out. And I will be speaking to you guys in the next video. Have a good day, Gooners. See you later.